guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how I study my Bible and how I keep the motivation to do it and pretty much what I do when I have a prayer session. Before I get started, I've been a Christian since I was born. I was raised Christian. I was raised by a Lutheran and an Anglican, but I practice more of an Anglo-Catholic faith now, which is still Anglican, so it's still Church of England. It's just more Catholic-y than Anglican-y. More traditional than modern, basically. But I still have that Midwestern American blood flowing through my veins, so the whole like Bible study and, you know, Pinterest Bible quotes I am such a sucker for. But I actually found that, you know, channels like Coffee and Bible Time are what grew my faith, basically. Reading the Bible and annotating it and doing pretty handwriting and all that. That's what actually got me into the word. So I'm never going to hate on anyone because I got in a super corny way. But yeah, I was never taught Bible study growing up. So this is sort of something I found literally through social media, but it's literally changed the game for me. So this is, I actually got this cover in Italy, but you can get them in like any little Christian bookshop. This is my first Bible that I bought myself when I was about 21. I was at Guildford Cathedral, I'm pretty sure, and I bought myself King James version of the Bible. So this is super hard to read, but somehow I did it, obviously. And I didn't read this immediately when I got it. I think I read like bits. I read like an odd psalm or something. But then Coffee and Bible Time, it was just before lockdown, so it was like August 2019, I think. Coffee and Bible Time did this like read the Old Testament with me challenge, so I did it, and then I actually managed to keep up with it somehow. And that is what got me through the Old Testament. Now, oh my goodness, it's so hard to read the Old Testament. I'm really glad I did it. And I would definitely say to like push yourself and try and read it. There's so many resources, which I'll talk about later, that make it pretty easy to read, but it is a challenge. But yeah, obviously this Bible, I annotated the heck out of it. Obviously more the New Testament than anything, and I just have like notes and posters every other page. So yeah, I definitely say over annotate for a Bible, especially if it's your first time reading. So I ended up reading the Bible in like a year during lockdown, which was one of the best things I think I've ever done. I went in more as like an educational thing, like I wanted to know what the Bible said, because you know everyone's always telling you what the Bible says, but I wanted to actually learn for myself. So I read that. That was amazing. And then this is my current Bible that my boyfriend got me. Oh, it's the ESV Bible. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's got so it's got like space to write on this side, and then also you can annotate and it doesn't really bleed through the pages, which is really good. And then I also treated myself to like Bible tabs. I got these on Etsy. They're like rose gold. They're so pretty, honestly. It's so elegant. But yeah, this is my current one, and I have not done that much. This is the busiest page. It's rare in this Bible. But yeah, I haven't tried to do another like full read through of the Bible, but I probably will at some point. And then I use pastel highlighters. These ones bleed through the page a little bit, but my midliners, they're really good. I'd recommend them. This is the Anglican Rosary. I keep this. I should actually keep this in my other Bible, but I do pray the Rosary, but I pray the Anglican one because I'm not Catholic. So I'll talk about that in a minute. So this is obviously the first thing I go to, but my actual like prayer routine is I'll normally, I find it pretty hard, obviously, like I think most Christians do, to actually sit down and read the Bible. So I'll normally start by playing some music. I'll either do worship music or this playlist, which I love this playlist. It always gets me in the right headspace. And then I'll probably journal after that. I journal everything in this, like it doesn't have to be prayers or anything, just what's going on in my life, why I'm stressed out, goals, all of that kind of stuff. Which I would definitely recommend anyway, regardless of if you're Christian or not. Then I might actually just like read a psalm or something, or part of the New Testament, depending on where I am on any particular reading plan. The next thing I use is devotionals. If you don't want to like actually buy a book devotional, then I would recommend the Bible app. I think it's, if you type in YouVersion, I'll put a picture of it up on the screen. This app is incredible. Like when I'm doing my makeup in the morning, I'll always have like little headphones in and be listening to whatever. I'll always be listening to, a lot of the time I listen to James in the morning because that's my favorite book, but you can listen to anything. But if you go on to plans, you can go through all of these plans, and literally they have plans on just about everything. It's so good, honestly. But I'll also, when I was going through the Old Testament, what I would do is I would play, you can go on to the actual like the Bible, the text, and then choose what chapter, choose what translation, and get it read to you. I listened to, I think it was the King James version, and the guy who does it is the Shakespearean actor. He is so good, honestly. It's such a good translation. I would recommend it. But I always had to compare with like the New International Version, just because a lot of the time you can't understand what's going on in the King James version. The Bible Project I would also massively recommend. Maybe before you start reading a chapter of the Old Testament, or even the new one, you can use their videos to get like an explanation and like a layout of the chapter, because a lot of the time understanding the whole layout is kind of crucial to what the chapter is trying to teach you. Another online resource that I use, so the app I use is Enduring Word. Definitely recommend that. It's pretty heavy, but there's just so much to unpack that you can, you know, you sometimes do plans where it's just one chapter and you read the chapter and you're like, okay, now what do I do? This will give you a solid half an hour of study on each chapter. I swear, there's so much on this app. So if I'm aiming to be a bit more offline during my study time, then I have a couple of like old books. I think I nicked this one off my mum. It's the Pocket Oxford Book of Prayer. It's really nice, just some like little simple prayers. If you're like me and you love the traditional stuff, then this is great. Also, I was given this when I was confirmed, when I was like a teenager. I don't remember how old I was, but this one is stunning. Like, the illustrations in this are so gorgeous. I love it. And the prayers are also really lovely. And they're older prayers as well. So there's no danger of getting like new age stuff snuck in there, because this is all old traditional verse. So really nice if you want to connect with historical stuff. I don't know. The final thing I'm going to talk about is having a prayer journal. I love having a prayer journal. It definitely changed the game for me a little bit. I just literally just have like a teeny tiny little notepad like this. So on the front page I have like these little prayer cards I got in St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City. That's where I got those little cards from. But honestly, those little tiny prayer cards, you can get them in like any Catholic store. I have a prayer for light, and then I have another one, and sometimes I'll just pray those to get into it. I'll also sometimes just pray the Lord's Prayer to get into it. But yeah, and then this is a new one, so I haven't done that much in it, but I just write down my prayers, and that way you can look back and see what prayers were actually answered. So on my old one that I have back home with my parents, I color-coded prayers for stuff that had been, it was like green for if it had been answered, and then like I had this whole system going, but I can't remember what it was, where I have a color code for like when I wanted it at the time, but then realized that actually I didn't need it, stuff like that. So I definitely recommend having a prayer journal. I got the idea from Coffee and Bible Time, obviously. They have a really good video, which you should go check out. I'll put it in the description, about a prayer journal. Another film I watched which really inspired me, I think it's called The War Room. It's a bit corny, especially if you're English. Yeah, it'll be a bit corny if you're an English person, but for any American, it's fine. But that's a really good film. It's about having a prayer room, and that always inspired me to put up little like sticky notes and stuff of prayers that I wanted to like keep on my heart. So you do that as well. The last thing, I have rosaries. I know this isn't an Anglican thing. There is such a thing as an Anglican prayer bead thing. This is the one I have. I think it's so gorgeous. It's only like glass or something, or like plastic, but I don't know. For me, the rosary is so low effort, but it's really high impact. It grounds you for a few seconds. I haven't got to the point where I can memorize the prayers. That's why I have a cheat sheet. But yeah, I'll do this. My aim is to pray this like every morning and night. Like, I really want to get better at it, because I have noticed an impact when I do pray it regularly. But yeah, it's basically just, a lot of it is similar to the Catholic rosary. But yeah, this is something that I've just started doing, and it's not something I saw online. It was just something that I think I visited a Catholic church one day, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a little tiny rosary, see if I can like make it Anglican. I have nothing against Catholicism. I definitely really like it, but I'm not a Catholic, so I don't pray their prayers, just in case. Another thing I have up in my house, which might not be possible for everyone depending on where you live, but I have little religious things up around places. I want to put some crosses above doors, because I was brought up in a house where pretty much every door had a cross above it, and I just really like that. I think it's nice. I have seen stuff online which I'd really love to try one day. Obviously, I live in a rented place at the moment, so I can't really put up my own paintings. But this stuff looks lovely, like some kind of little dedicated table, like a bit of a shrine. I think that's really nice. Obviously, when I have my own place and my own family, my house will be totally filled with that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think little decorations like that are really sweet. Alright guys, that's it for this video. If you have any more questions about my religion or how I pray and my routine and stuff like that, I'm so happy to answer them. let me know if you want any other videos on faith. I'll definitely keep them coming, but let me know just in case. Yeah, that wraps it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!